Hey everyone, before we jump into today's video, I want to let you know about a giveaway that will be happening on this channel soon. So my goal is to reach 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So I'll be giving away a Lego set at 9,000 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, be sure and do that. It really does help the channel so much, and if anything, it's just encouraging to me. But without further delay, let's jump into part 3 of this fanfic. So this is going to be a 4-part fanfic, but it's what if Qui-Gon Jinn left the Order with Count Dooku. Dooku looked down at the creature before him. The young Sith Lord had been trained well, he'd give him that, but no amount of training could overcome his experience. The experience Dooku had acquired over the years. Dooku recognized the value this thing had to his cause, though. If he could turn a Sith to his cause, then it would truly be free of the black and white understanding of the Force the Jedi projected into the galaxy. Good and evil would mean nothing if both the Sith and the Jedi, or former Sith and former Jedi, made up his network of Force users, the Wayseekers. To Dooku, if he could be head of an order with former Jedi and former Sith, he would be proof of the Jedi Order's arrogance, that the galaxy and the Force especially was not just good and evil, light and dark. Maul spat in the direction of Dooku's outstretched arm. The hate in his eyes was a fire unquenchable by mercy. Dooku decided to add to this fire by showering the wounded Sith apprentice in Force lightning. Though claiming to have progressed beyond labels such as Sith and Jedi, Count Dooku's heart had grown bitter and evil. Torturing Maul into submission was proof of this condition. By this point, Jedi Master Sidious had grown so concerned with the state of the galaxy and threats to the Republic that he ordered the creation of the Clone Army. Dooku's path has differed from the original timeline, just enough to mean he's not quite in the position to hear about and take over this cloning project in secret, which is what happened in canon. Instead, only Darth Sidious is aware of this project unbeknownst to Sidious. Nonetheless, Sidious would go ahead with this cloning project and be funded by Ego Damask, who was, well, Darth Plagueis. So at this point in our story, we'll jump about 10 years into the future. So right about when the Clone War would have begun. "You've grown very powerful indeed, my young friend." Qui-Gon looked at Anakin Skywalker, who was a young man at this point. His scruffy beard and long hair matched Qui-Gon. The two men stood on a cliff overlooking the Mos Eisley spaceport. "I believe the time has come for us to visit some old friends, Anakin. They will want to speak into your fate, but do not listen to them. Trust only the Force." "I will, Qui-Gon. Shall we get off this rock now?" Anakin and Qui-Gon boarded a crowded transport and began the slow, smelly, uncomfortable journey to the city planet of Coruscant. Qui-Gon had taken Anakin there once, early in his training, to observe the Jedi Temple, but they didn't go in. Qui-Gon explained that once he was a Jedi, but had grown apart from their beliefs. He explained that he did not think the Jedi were bad or evil, just that they had lost their way. He very much hoped that one day they would find their way again. Darth Sidious grimaced as the hollow transmission ended. The Sith Lord had been working with the Neimoidians of the Trade Federation, the Munes of the Banking Clan, and other key organizations in the galaxy. By now, he had hoped to establish a separatist movement that could spark war within the Republic, a war that he could use to his advantage. But he needed a face to this plan, though. He needed a leader for this movement, so that he could work in the shadows. It could not be his own face because he already bore the face of the Republic as Supreme Chancellor Palpatine. He had slowly but surely played politics to land himself in this powerful role, but he needed more. He needed someone like the fallen Jedi Master and now Count of Serrano for this role. He had Dooku in mind, but Dooku had grown secluded in the last years. It would not be impossible for Sidious to draw the rat from his nest. Nothing was impossible for him, but he needed to be patient. Once again, his plan was drawing out and taking longer than expected, but it was so close to reaching its pinnacle. Sidious sensed a disturbance in the Force. The dark side was off balance, almost as if there was another who believed they were the agent of the dark side. Count Dooku stared out the great window of his office in Serrano. He had been drawing and thinking and meditating upon the dark side more and more, which was odd to him because he felt that there were no such light and dark labels at this point. But there was a side of the Force, the Jedi would call it the dark side, that Dooku had been diving into over the years, and had been finding more and more power in it. Maul stood in front of the desk, while Dooku's back was to him. The wayseekers are in place and ready for your command, my master. Dooku had spent the better part of the last decade building a network of Force wielders that were prepared to do whatever bidding he had. Maul had become an asset to this network, though it took a scrupulous amount of torture to gain the allegiance of the fallen Sith Lord. I sense a disturbance in the Force, my friend. Dooku did not spare the energy to turn and face Maul. Maul wore an inquisitive expression on his face, as if searching for what his master had sensed. But then, just as he resolved to give up, Maul's eyes widened. He sensed the disturbance. It was a presence he had not felt since before he was sent to kill Dooku all those years ago. Darth Sidious had found him. Darth Sidious swiftly strode through the palace on Serrano. He had been willing to wait till the rat came out of his hole, but his game had become a great threat to Sidious's plan. The only plan to overthrow the Jedi and rule the galaxy. The door to Dooku's office slid open. Maul and Dooku both turned to see Darth Sidious stroll through the doorway. Maul did something that Dooku thought the Zabrak was incapable of. He dropped to his knees and began profusely apologizing to this hooded figure. So much for loyalty, Dooku thought. Dooku realized this must be his old master, the Sith Lord Darth Sidious. I see you survived your mission, but you did not succeed, my young apprentice. After all these years, I thought you were dead. But no, just ashamed to return to your master. Sidious raised a hand and lifted Maul into the air, crushing his windpipe and then swiftly sending Maul out the great window behind Dooku's desk. Maul quickly disappeared from sight as he fell from the tall palace. Pitiful, Sidious spat. Dooku had not moved since he turned to face the doorway. In fact, the only change to his demeanor was a cruel smile that spread across his face. At last, a worthy ally. Igniting the curved hilt of his lightsaber, Dooku readied himself in a traditional Makashi dueling stance. I've been looking forward to this, Dooku said. Sidious responded not with words, but the sequential hiss of two lightsabers igniting from the sleeves of his long robe. With a yell, Darth Sidious leapt toward Count Dooku. Though the Sith Lord moved at a blurring speed, Dooku was able to keep up his defenses. The precision of his Form 2 lightsaber technique was a fitting contrast to the wide and aggressive attacks from Sidious. Their lightsabers clashed and echoed through the open office. Dooku could not help but notice that Sidious wore a wicked smile. He was toying with him. Sweat began to roll down Dooku's face. He had exerted so much energy just to stay in the duel, but Sidious was treating this like a casual exercise. A few more desperate seconds passed as Dooku attempted to break through Sidious's guard, but before long, his lightsaber was slashed from his hands. And in a flash, Sidious sent a bolt of lightning to emphasize Dooku's defeat. Writhing on the ground, Dooku was overwhelmed, but not with pain. He was overwhelmed with the awe of Darth Sidious's power. Then the lightning stopped. Dooku looked up to see Sidious staring down at him, much like he had stared down at Maul after their duel 10 years ago. And in the same way, Sidious reached out his hand. "I will give you a chance to prove yourself to me. Only then will your insignificant network of wayseekers have a real purpose in the galaxy." "And what purpose will that be?" Dooku asked. "We will destroy the arrogant Jedi Order and remake the Republic." Sidious's eyes seemed to glow as the smile spread across his face. Dooku reached up and took the hand of Darth Sidious. Meanwhile, Anakin Skywalker and Qui-Gon Jinn sat outside the Jedi Temple just as they had years ago. They sat far enough that no one could see them unless they were looking, but no one was. They spent the whole afternoon watching Jedi come and go from the temple. Qui-Gon would point out each one and tell Anakin about them. "That is Master Plo Koon, one of the best starfighter pilots I have ever met. And he has a good heart for those around him too." They continued to watch. "And that is Master Sindralig. He is the best of the duelists in the Jedi Order." And then a young Jedi with a beard came into view. "Obi-Wan." Qui-Gon's voice trailed off. "And who is he?" Anakin asked. Qui-Gon was quiet for a moment longer. "He, I have no doubt, is the best the Jedi Order has to offer." As the afternoon went on, a Jedi would occasionally come into view that Qui-Gon didn't know. "It's been many years since I was last here. So many new faces." Anakin asked Qui-Gon if he thought that they had found their way, or if they were still just the same. "Well, my young friend, the Order is not inherently bad. As I've told you before, the Jedi are good, but they've lost their way, as I've told you. I've always told you that the Force is the ultimate guide in this life. Though you and I wield the Force in a way similar to the Jedi, we're not bound by their code." Anakin looked at Qui-Gon. Why do they follow a code if it's made them lose their way? His question was honest. "Because they've forgotten what it was like to follow the Force." Qui-Gon continued to watch the temple for the next hour, hardly speaking another word to Anakin. He never answered Anakin's original question. As the sun was setting, Qui-Gon finally spoke. "Come, Anakin. We must now leave. I sense that something is not right with an old friend. Have I told you much about my life on Serrano before I met you?" Alright everyone, that's it for part 3 of this fanfic. I am going to be finishing up this story in part 4 coming soon. Let me know in the comments below what you'd like to see from part 4. I've got some ideas and it's mostly finished, but part of why I like leaving these in cliffhanger endings is I want to see what you guys are thinking, so that maybe this video and this what if can be something that we work on collectively. If you haven't already, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. It helps out so much, and stay tuned for more information on the giveaway. May the Force be with you.